Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss, and let's do this, guys. All right.
Doing a lot of things.
We do.
Lots
we definitely
to get
do.
into. We will try not to waste any time, even though I'm fairly certain it's going to take a lot of time. It was a big weekend that we are going to jump into.
Yes, sir.
Everything that happened. There's a lot, but probably nothing more important and more meaningful for us to talk about right away than the passing of Steve Nasty Anderson.
Yes,
so
sir. Yes,
as
sir.
you and I just got a chance to talk about, literally we're just talking about this.
Yeah.
I've known him for, as long as I've ever been in a karate tournament.
Right.
So I will say early 92, right? I've known who Nasty Anderson is. Like, and what we were just saying, like, you don't do martial arts competitions and not know who he is.
Correct.
And it's it's possible that competitors today or within the last 10 years maybe don't know him that much. So I would understand that, but not in the time where I was. Now, even given that, I've never had a conversation with him. We've never officially met each other.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've seen each other many times. I've had people that I've known fought him. That didn't turn out great for them.
That's right.
But exactly, it's pretty much the way it goes. So you've had experiences with him, though, correct?
A little bit, yes.
Tell me about that.
When growing up, what was actually, as I'm saying this right now, my first actual experience with him was actually my first bout of Atlanta, 1990. So he was there, but I was actually competing against several of his students, and I remember just competing against his students in 90 and 91, and him coaching them and things like that. So that was like my first interaction with him, and just always man, very intense guy. This is, they're students of Nasty Anderson. Like, that was just so cool, you just knew that name and it sounded cool. Like, I didn't know his name was Steve. It's Nasty, right? 92, we have a big event in Radford, Virginia every year called Karate College. And there, it started in 89 and I went in 90, 91, 92. And it was always pushed with Bill Wallace, Jeff Smith, Joe Louis. 92, they brought in Steve Nasty Anderson, and it was awesome. I mean, that seminar was just great. He was funny. He was, and he had some of those students that I knew and competed against, and that was really where it was like, okay, this is the guy. Like, you really. Even if maybe at 8 years old, I didn't understand really all of his accomplishments, I knew that was someone special, if you know what I'm saying. Like, and I knew that was someone that understood what it meant to win. And so growing up in the circuit, seeing him, maybe I didn't per se like have a conversation, but I was always the one that would be like, standing right next to listening to him and KA talk or him and Anthony talk. Like, that was just the way I was. And when I was on teams, he would be talking, to Spencer, our coach, or to Anthony or to Tony. And I would just make sure I'm sitting there and listen, or he would be talking to Jeff Smith and I would make sure I'd be listening. And just so much knowledge, so much, man, it's just, again, I mean, Chris and Travis really talked about it so much. Just all the different sayings he had were great today. I mean, there's so many ones. I had to put a couple out on Facebook because it was awesome.
Yeah, what I appreciated about that is because I had heard a lot of those, but not from his mouth.
Right.
So to hear that audio is actually really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. My instructor brought him in several times for seminars over the past 20 years.
So what are they like?
To Lynchburg. So he's brought him several times. Just
tell me what a Nasty Anderson seminar
kind of like, man, just fun, like intense but fun, like, because he's going to tell you what he feels. He's going to say his honest truth, and he's going to say, you know what? Like, to me, the biggest thing I got from it was the mindset stuff, like, are you here to win or not? And it's like, I'm here to win. I don't care what people think or this or that. I'm here to win. And I remember, I guess it was 2 years ago, I was sharing with my sport karate team, like, the things that Nasty did and the things that Nasty does. And they're like, oh my God, that's awful. Like, are you okay with that? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, do you want to win or not? Like, he's there to win. So are you going to tournaments to make friends? Or are you going to tournaments just to say you went to tournaments? Or are you going to win? Like, that's the difference, You will grow if you learn to win, right? Like, so. But
what's interesting
really
about
cool.
Steve Nasty Anderson is he's almost like a folklore, like he's almost like a Paul Bunyan like figure. And like, here's an example that I'll explain. So, like I mentioned before, I've seen him. We've been in the same building. We've never personally met. We've never had a conversation with each other. But I feel like I know so many things about him. Obviously, there's no reason why he need to know anything about me.
Correct.
But like we've all heard so many of the stories that go along with him.
Oh, so many. It's crazy.
One of them would be like, all right, you're not cheating. You're not trying.
Right.
And here's one. Okay, now, like I told you before, we don't have a budget connection. So if you've heard this before, let me know. Confirm if you've heard it. If I get it wrong, get it right for me, okay? So I heard that it was obviously a long time ago, right? Because when it was fighting. So there was a tournament that was giving away a color TV for a grand prize, okay?
Okay.
And the story I heard was he called up some of the other competitors and told them that they changed the date for the event.
I've heard this story. I've heard something.
You've heard this before? Yeah. This is what
I've
I mean.
Heard something like that.
Never met the guy.
Right.
Never have this. Yet I know these things. So he calls some of the guys, let them know, no, change the date of it because he really wanted that TV. Right. And but that's the thing. Is it's like it doesn't matter. Like, Nasty Anderson's like the Patriots. Like you could hate on him. In the end,
they're the
nasty. It's the
That's
Patriots.
Right.
Like they're gonna win anyway.
That's right.
That's right. You're just hating. You know what I mean?
Right. So
like,
I
have
wish
your favorites,
that I got to
now.
see him. Oh, I know. I wish I got to see him in the 80s. I got to see him a little bit when he was on Metro in that like early 90s kind of thing, or East Coast All-Star. I'm sorry.
That's actually when I saw him fighting.
Yeah. But and then later on he took some breaks, and I knew that he was heavily involved in Canada and everything. And so I saw him, and actually mostly through Ben Stewart, coaching Ben and coaching those guys. And then around, I'm trying to remember, I think it's like 98, 99, 2000, he really got back to competing again in the senior division. And him and KA were on stage battling for senior grands, or during the day battling for senior grands and fighting each other. And it was entertaining, man. That was some fun stuff. So just again, man, we're going to miss him. But one of the biggest things I think we just all just need to just not just respect, but carry on, the traditions and the things that he brought to our sport. I mean, he's, again, to most people, arguably the best ever. There's so many arguments you can go back and forth, but like
I think really the only argument really is him and Raymond. That's the only argument that could be made.
But the golden era, you know what I mean, of sport karate and point fighting in the 80s, and with the television and everything, like he was.
Now I have a question. So. I have a question about that as well. Now the team, because I never saw it. I saw video of it. The team that he was on, was it the Trans World?
Trans World. Yeah,
what was it? It was just called Trans World.
There's Trans World Atlantic.
There were two teams. There was the Atlantic team, and then they changed over to
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Atlantic team, and then that's right.
All right. See, isn't it awesome to have the producer that can help us out like that?
I know.
This is the best.
got me all messed up, man.
So here's why I bring that up, and then we can kind of end it here. So Jotty and I got into a conversation many years ago about best teams ever.
Right.
And talked about the CJB teams. We talked about some of the other teams. And I said, I think
straight up, right.
One of the teams that could have been the best that ever was straight up team of Ray, Jason, and Jotty. Because that existed for a few tournaments.
Right.
All in their peak.
Actually, that also could have been the all-star team, too, at one point, too.
Yeah. But at that point, I think, and it was Jotty's, from his mouth, he said, I wasn't okay never being an anchor, which is fine. Right. Okay.
Right.
Anyway, Anthony Price checked me like a couple, like not even like a couple months, like a couple weeks later. He's sitting with I'll never forget. I'm at the Great Lakes Pro-Am, right? Richard Plowden's tournament, right after the WKC Nationals, right? And he's sitting next to Terry Kramer, and Anthony Price and Terry Kramer are sitting next to each other. Anthony Price waves me over and goes, "Hey, I got a beef with you," and I'm like, "You are not the person I want beef with. So let's talk this out." And he says, "That ain't the best team. None of the teams you mentioned were the best teams ever." And he said, "The Trans World team was the best. We were the best. Never. Undefeated. 5 heavyweights. No one ever beat us."
Right.
And I had to sit there and go,
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I am wrong. I'm wrong. Because what am I supposed to say about that?
Right. I mean, just that lineup, just insane, man. And so to think that, that team, right, that we're talking about 5 heavyweights, before that, that's the division that Nasty had to go through to win first.
That was the trip. That was the trip. When he said that to me, it was hard for me to recognize. I'm like, wait a minute. It was 5 heavyweights, and he's the guy.
Yeah. Now, like you said on the comments stuff, which I thought was real cool. Once he got on that team, his numbers went down or whatever. But you know what? I mean, overall,
do you think that could exist today?
What, like all heavyweight team?
Not all heavyweight team. I mean, do you think it could last like that?
What do you mean? Like
with everybody in the same division?
Oh.
On one team.
I mean, I think by that time, some of those divisions kind of split up. Like there were some, when we say all heavyweights, there might have been a little bit of difference. But yeah, like at that time, some were like in light heavy, some were in heavy. But years ago, yeah, I mean, there's some of that, so I think when we say all heavyweights, but still
we get that heavy.
Three people in heavyweight on the same team. That's still, 2
and
people.
Billy and AP were in light.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Even to this day, most of the time, even the top other teams, it was one in one division, one in the other. Like other people's thing was Jason, Damon, Trevor. None of them were in the same division. Now,
they weren't even in the same category.
Did they go
genre?
Well, until later on. But at one point, Jason and Trevor had to fight each other.
Impex, I think, was the closest thing
runoffs.
When they had Avery, Jason Grenier, Ross, and then Jotty for a little bit, but he would always fight in the 30s.
Yeah,
so that was the closest one. But that didn't last for very long.
No.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I just think with all the different teams that there is right now, I just don't even think that could exist anymore. With 5 guys at that level, all on one team. And you can only have one of them come out of that weight grant.
Yeah. I always thought it was weird when you had, even in some point when you had multiple players, on the same team, on the same division. But, you know what? Whatever.
Yeah, but, teach their own. That's cool. So that's it's and I think that we haven't really fully soaked in what this is going to mean as Nasty Anderson is gone. And I think the reason why is because we knew that he was having health complications.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a sudden.
And then also, then K.A. died, passed away. And then it just was like, man, no, not now.
So this is strange for me. And when I think about that happening, I think just about their families.
Right.
That's the only thing that's like the only thing I think of, because while we'll talk about them, because that's the nature of what we're talking about right now, is the nature of our pod is martial arts related content. But when you're in that moment, it does not matter if you've ever accomplished a single thing in your entire life. It matters nothing, because whether you've accomplished everything or if you've accomplished nothing, your life, you're not in control of.
Right.
And it's either going to go or it's not. You know what I mean? And it's really a sad but sobering truth to understand that this life is finite and it is very short. But when I say it just makes me think of their families, that brings me to another passing that happened that really I did not think it would affect me, was Kobe Bryant's passing.
Right.
So I didn't think that was going to affect me very much, because I'm not a Lakers fan.
Right.
And at the time when he was at the top, homie, I'm a Timberwolves fan.
Yeah.
All right. Dude, bring it on. KG is going to get the big ticket's going to bring it to you. You know? And even after that, like I'm a LeBron guy. So I understand Kobe's legit. Kobe's the man as far as a basketball level. But it really tripped me out knowing that his daughter was on that helicopter. That really messed with me. And I started thinking about that and then started thinking about, so was it that there was other teammates of hers that were on the helicopter too? And that's what I think happened. And that was oh man.
Yeah. It's just sad, man. Overall.
Now, did you see footage? Did you see footage of the helicopter going down at all?
I didn't look at. I don't like to look into it.
I mean, don't, if it's not going to mess with you. Yeah. I wish I wouldn't have. It didn't last long. It's only a couple. Yeah. It's only a couple seconds.
Right.
So I started, and I kept thinking, like, all right, is this going to be a big deal? Is this going to, like, how long would it have been? Would he have had time to say one thing or the other? Would he have had time to say a prayer? Would he have time to do anything, just to look at her and say, hey, I love you?
Yeah.
And from when it looked like, all right, the helicopter's starting to like wobble a little bit, but it was down in like 3 seconds, like exploding.
Yeah.
Like it's not cool.
No.
So
no, it's, man, I don't even know. I always was, as far as with Kobe, and I think one of the biggest things is that he always kind of surpassed basketball, because not only was he a smart guy and like a scholar, he spoke so many different languages. He just seemed like, I don't know, if you haven't read the book Relentless, go out and read that. I think I talked about this before. It's about it's written by the guy who was the strength trainer for Kobe and Jordan and Dwayne Wade, and just hearing the stories about how much of a real champion he is and the things that it took, to be in the way he thought. And I think those concepts and that mindset can really encourage a generation that maybe even didn't see him play. You know what I mean? Like, this dude is just on a whole nother level, and very similar to Nasty, honestly, in a lot of ways, on that mindset of being a champion and what it takes. And all right, are you here to win or not? Like, if not, then guess what?
But
someone's going to take your spot.
It can backfire too. I'll give you an example. This one's actually funny, so it'll bring a little light to it. So, would you say Jerry Rice is kind of on that level?
Yeah.
All right, so listen to this. This is Jerry. Big time. So listen to this. So I don't know if you know this. Did you know that Jerry Rice never shook anybody's hand before a game? No one. He would touch no one's hand.
Yeah, I heard that.
And the reason, listen to his reasoning. He said he didn't want to rub any of his greatness off onto anyone else. Now, we look at that, we're like, oh, that's kind of funny, because that's not real. Problem is, I told that to the wrong person right before a competition. Guess who I told that to? BJ Carnahan.
Oh, man.
He did that. A couple times. He went and wouldn't shake someone's hand. And people gave BJ a bad rap, like a lot.
Of being a jerk.
I'm like, dude, that's not real. Like, we can't, like, all right, okay. Well,
yeah.
here you go.
Oh,
not gonna be able to walk away from that one.
That's right. Oh, man.
Now, the helicopter crash going down. My brother was the one to let me know. He's like, hey, Kobe died. I'm like, what? And he says, yeah, helicopter crash. I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, there's actually a real significance, a really eerie significance on this helicopter crash. So I'm like, word, what is it? And he says, well, it's actually the 15-year anniversary when a Marine Corps helicopter crashed with 30 Marines and one Navy SEAL member on the helicopter on the same exact day. I'm like, that's trippy. Yeah. And he says, here's the other trippy thing. My best buddy, my brother was in the Marine Corps. My brother is infantry. He was a machine gunner. Did 2 tours. Okay. He said, my buddy Jay Haskins was supposed to be on the helicopter. Didn't go on the helicopter. Ended up doing a different tour in Afghanistan later on. So he didn't die on January 26th.
Right.
Does another tour later. After he goes home for leave, gets his wife pregnant. All right. Planned. Whatever. Now he goes to Afghanistan, dies in a roadside IED. Okay. Improvised explosive device. Okay. That son, who he never met, was born on his birthday on January 26th. All same day.
Yeah.
Really trippy. So when he told me that, I was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
So,
man, I don't even know what to say about that. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that one really tripped me out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just been on that part, a very sad weekend. And let's just, think about the families and lift them up, and you know what? Just keep that positivity going.
Speaking of positivity, let's get to some positivity in wins.
Yep.
Ray.
Yeah.
Second Bellator MMA fight.
It was awesome. It was cool for him to get that win.
Did you watch the fight?
I didn't watch it live. No, I wasn't able to watch it.
It wasn't long.
Yeah.
You watch it. It
It
was pretty quick.
Yep.
So
I watched the highlights. So yeah.
Well, that's what the fight was. That
I know.
So, it was cool to see that he came out wanting to wreck him, right? But it looked a little reckless at the same time. There was only one point in the match where I'm like, ooh, this could maybe go south.
Yeah.
Which is when his opponent, now he messed this guy up right away. He blitzed him
so much. Yeah.
Pop, blitzed him. Hard. This dude was not okay, right? Was just grasping at straws to stay alive in this match from that moment on. But he had Ray's heel, and Ray was up on his feet, didn't want to go down, as you should not.
Mm-hmm.
But the way Ray tried to get away, how he turned his back and tried yanking his leg.
Yeah.
If that guy wasn't so dazed, that moment, the way he turned his back and tried to run,
not have been,
if he wasn't able to get his leg out, that could have been a really bad moment.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Right.
He got up and
he showed a lot of composure, which was good, and which is what I was impressed with. The guy on the ground, I mean, I don't know, it was really weird. I mean, I really think he was dazed. Every time he went to the ground, he was hurt. So, but sometimes you don't know. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched a Shinya Aoki,
I don't even know what you just said.
All right, Shinya Aoki is a legendary Japanese fighter, but he will actually, when he'll go against strikers, he'll just go to the ground and just like crab walk to them and just be like, come on, come to me, and just sit there and wait for them. In America, that doesn't fly. In Japan, that's kind of a thing, you know? So they won't stand him up or be like, get up, you know? But he tried to do that in like Strike Force, and they're like, no, dude, you got to get up. You got to stand up. And so I don't know if, you know what I'm saying? I was kind of thinking, I was like, all right, technically, do they have to say stand up? Because he could have found a way to draw him into that ground. So I don't know. That's just a difference in cultures, you know, with American MMA versus kind of the one and the
what do you
pride
think?
stuff.
Do you think they should just stand him up, or do you think they should just let the fight play out?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the. Well, I'd rather it have action. So yeah, I mean, I don't think because someone fell to the ground that you have to engage. I think that was the best thing that Raymond did was just say, all right, get back up. Let's go. Now, do I think the referee should stand up because Ray says get back up? No, I don't think that's right. That's not right at all. It should at least be some type of seconds. But
Ray's telling him, I'm not getting down.
Right.
Get your butt up.
So either that guy shouldn't, if he wants to bring him to the ground, then he has to aggressively find a way to get him to the ground, like by moving and leg trip or something, you know, with his legs. I don't know if that's going to happen, but, you know, if not, get up, let's go. I think it should be like a 3 to 5 second kind of thing, you know, and then go from there. But I have seen before where the guy was trying to do things like that, and the ref said, "Oh no, you got to stand up." You know,
I think the only difference was Ray knocked him down.
Exactly. Yeah.
If he would have just went down to the ground.
Went down. Yeah.
Yeah. No way that's gonna fly.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was glad that. I mean, I know he didn't want to end it with a ground and pound, but he found a way to do it, and he hit him, and you know, there you go. So
yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was a good win with the end result. You know.
Yeah, it was a good win in his area. So
yeah, fought at Staples Center.
Yeah,
get it. Yeah, congrats, Ray.
Yeah, at the forum, man. So pretty cool. All right, so
let's get into the AKA Warrior Cup.
Yes. So I was the only part of the team that was not there. So I was a little bummed about that.
While you were the only part of the team that wasn't there, I guarantee you saw more than I did, at least when it came to forms, because that was pretty intentional for me to not see it.
Maybe. I don't know.
But we'll get into all that later. So what are some of your takeaways right away? Let's get kind of like, is there someone or something you wanted to say, hey man, I got to start with this?
Just overall the event.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for me it was, you know, Avery Morgan show, and good to see like Jack at an AKA, you know, because that's different. You don't really see that very much. I don't know.
He did it a couple years ago,
but I mean, it's been a while, you know.
Yeah.
From the clips I've seen, Kevin really was back on his game, you know, and going in the right direction.
Yeah. Man, I got stuff to talk about him.
And then the biggest thing that was like stuff that everyone was texting me about or sending me about was just, you know, like the new youth rivalry, you know, with Jason and Tyson, you know, and then just also how both of them also beat other people who were everyone was trying to put up at the same time as them.
Yep.
And they were like spreading them as well. Both of them were, you know, if it was Friday night or if it was Saturday night in the division. So,
well, let's start with right away.
Tyson
let's talk
Jason,
about the event. Let's talk about, because we're going to get into everything.
Yeah. And I'll get into forms too. I was just kind of talking fighting, but yeah.
Yeah.
Later.
Let's talk about what happened on Friday. So the tournament started at like 10 or 11 a.m. on Friday.
Right.
Which you were like, come on now. That's not fair. It was great.
Okay.
Right. It was really good. So I left at like 2:00 in the afternoon. I just left because I had to go. Because I don't drive down to Chicago. I take the train because it's easier, because I don't have to worry about parking and I don't have to worry about traffic, nothing. Right.
Yeah.
So I took the train down. I took the train back. It was great because I got to come back home, hang out with the kids, put the kids to bed, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So, but I'm okay with if all tournaments end up doing that. And they just say, no, we're doing this. Get here the night before, or get here on the first flight possible, and then everything can be run efficiently, which seemed that way for most of the day on Friday.
Okay.
When it ended up on Saturday, not so much, and we'll get into that later.
Right.
So let's talk about fighting. So right away, it was a shock. So team fighting,
yeah.
Team Impacts, men and women lost first round.
Yep.
Now,
I watched that fight.
Which one? Let's talk about the women. Did you watch the women?
Okay. I didn't get to see the women. No.
So women, Lily beat Faith. And so, but you got to look at it like, I can't remember how many points she had on Faith. Now, Faith has got some skill, right? She really does.
She does.
As you can tell, it's not totally exactly where she's going to be yet, right?
It's not clicking.
She's not completely refined to her best fighting self yet, right?
Correct.
But you can tell, like, it's coming. So we just hope that it keeps going, because I just love to see people fighting at their full potential. Even if they don't make it, right? You want to see everybody fighting where they're supposed to be, you know?
Right.
You just hate looking at it going, man, there was like points that were just left out there. Like you're missing things, right? That is not the case. Right. She's just not there right now. So Lily beat her. Now, Kayla, how do you say her last name? KTOC. She's from Mexico. Kayla.
Mahia, is that what it is?
There you go. Sorry, sounds great.
I don't know.
Right? All right. We know who. So anyway, she's got some dang skill.
Yeah.
So she was able to keep Morgan at a relative bay because of her range, not necessarily her range, but her height of her chamber and the specific positioning of where she's kicking, right? Wasn't able to be landing it, but that wasn't exactly her goal at the same time. She's trying to keep Morgan's axe kick from being effective, and trying to keep Morgan back just from spacing and timing, so that Morgan can't blitz the same way.
Right.
So Morgan gathered some points back, wasn't able to get it totally there. KTOC goes on to win women's teams. Okay, so MPEX lost first round. With the men, I forget his name. Who is the new guy on
Nico
Impact?
Yeah, Nico.
Okay.
He's from
Duvers.
Canada. Duvers. He was at WKC. You know.
Yeah.
He won his division there and everything. So. Yeah.
Now, this was another experience for him. So you can tell this guy's got the skill. But his first matchup in team fighting was not desirable. So he got kicked.
That happens several times when you have a new person on a team.
Yeah.
And you bring them in, that first event usually doesn't work out, especially in team fighting.
Well, not necessarily, sometimes. But it doesn't. Oh, well, yes and no. But he got kicked 5 times in 90 seconds. Right. But it wasn't just kicked. Like, he also got hit with his hands like 3 times. Yeah. So he got 13 points scored on him in 90 seconds. That's not ideal.
Yeah.
No. Now the reason why, but even as he's getting hit, like, you're looking at him and you can see the skill. And I thought about it and I was like, and this sounds bad. And at the time I'm like, it would almost be better if he was just a cheeseburger. Because if he was just a cheeseburger, they're awkward sometimes. And you got someone who doesn't know that they don't know. Sometimes they're awkward to run up the score on. But if you get somebody who should know the timing, who should know, all right, this is what they're going to do, you're basically controlling them, which is kind of what happened to him, right? Mm-hmm. So you can just bait them into coming. You can bait them into a defensive side. You can bait them into reaching for a kick. You can bait them in to throwing a blitz. You can bait them into standing still because they're supposed to know what to do, right? So when it looks like, oh, now is when I do this, they don't second guess it.
Right.
You know? But a cheeseburger, they don't even know that stuff. Sometimes it's just try to back leg front kick, and you're like, all right, this is horrible. I'm just gonna not do anything for the rest of the match and beat you by 2.
All right,
you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I'm just saying several times, especially just being on CJB, Damon's first team fight event, awful at DC Capital Classics, terrible, like lost. I think everyone and then guess what? He made it to the finals against Jason for the overall the next day. It's like, all right, and then you had same thing when Mark Nadu was on the team. Awful in team fight. Next tournament, won the lightweight grand. Things like that. I'm trying to remember if it was several of the women as well, that their first one on the team, their first team fight. Maybe even Josh, didn't do too well. Josh Horridge on CJB didn't do too well in his first team fight, but then did well the next day and then the rest of the year. So there's pressure, there's nerves, especially with a young guy like that. He's really young. So I think it's a lot of things. So let's hope that there's a lot of a good future ahead, and he keeps going in the direction that Mr. Plowden and everybody else sees for him. So
okay, so the team fighting ended up with All Stars and Proper,
right?
So
I watched that fight. So
watching it, every time I saw the matchup for All Stars, I was like, well, they're winning. Even when they matched up first against Dojo, I'm like, I want to see what this first matchup is like. They sent Chris out, they sent Zayn out, and I'm like, oh, this is over. Chris is going to win. Yeah. Right? And the reason why was because I knew Chris was just going to have a mental edge on Zayn.
Correct.
And not like Zayn must think something of him, although that's exactly what it is, because they train in Chris's school, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Chris just got something on that, They all go to him. Chris is the guy there. He's the glue. He's what's kind of connecting that group together.
It's true.
It's hard to just step out and try to see like you're going to dominate him. Zayn didn't assert himself well enough, and Chris took advantage.
Yeah.
Beat him.
Right? Yeah.
And that just kind of just took off from there. Now, speaking of All-Stars, Kevin's front leg.
Yeah. I remember you texted me, man, about that. Wow.
It's unfreaking real. It's amazing. I'm literally sitting there. I'm sitting next to Alonzo Payne, and I'm like, are you watching this? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? And he goes, he's always been a great kicker. I'm like, never like this.
Yeah.
This is something else. This is amazing. All right? It is fan-freaking-tastic. I had a man crush on his front leg kick. For real. I couldn't help myself. I had to go over to him. And I'm like, yo, your leg. And he goes, oh, you like that, don't you? I'm like, yes. Yes, I do. So someone made a joke. Maybe it was Chris. I can't remember. He goes, oh, yeah, he's trying to get on that top kicker list. I'm like, dude, we're making an evaluation right now. Starting now, you're on the tops. Like, this is the way. Like, it was like that.
That's how easy you're persuade. Come on.
Just wait
Come
now.
on, Alan.
Just
Come
wait.
on, man.
Dude, you got go back. I dare you watch that video. I dare you.
Okay. One tournament, that's good. Let's let him go.
What was interesting was what he said about it, though. What he said is, he goes, yeah, I've always really kind of been able to do this, but I made an intentional choice not to, because I always viewed it as wasting energy. That's what he said. I'm like, huh? No. And he goes, no, actually, I realized you waste more energy angling, faking, cutting, bouncing in and out, trying to adjust timing. I was like, well, yeah, that's so much more exhausting than picking your leg up. See? And he goes, yeah. But then here's the funny part. I don't think he meant it as a jab. I was like, yeah, when you're kicking for the full duration of the match, the only thing that's really going to get sore after a while is like your lower back or your support knee. But that's probably me, not you, because I weigh so much more than you. He goes, yeah, you're right. Like, hey.
Oh, man.
But yeah, funny. So Kevin's front leg.
It's awesome, man.
I'd say it was the best in the tournament. I don't think anybody had a better kick than Kevin Walker. It was like that. And Jack is your comfortable constant.
Yep.
He's assertive. He's aggressive. He's dominant. He's never in the wrong place, right? He doesn't always win, but he's always got a chance to win. Always, whatever the match, right?
Right.
Now, so it came down All-Stars proper, but then you get to open weight. Getting down to open weight, did you watch any of this?
Just a couple. All right. So anytime I want to go and watch the live stream, this is what happens.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I get caught when there's a downtime or there's something else. And then I'm like, really?
And you're watching the side judge's butt.
I'm just sitting there and I'm like, what? Or there'll be, a protest or something. And that's when I get to watch it. And I'm sitting there like, all right, well, this is a waste. I'm going to go on to go back to work. So I turn it on and crap. So as much as I love seeing the live stream, I also hate it too because of stuff like that.
Right.
Like, give me a commercial or something. I don't know. Go to another ring or something so I can see action. Only action, please. So I didn't get to see all the stuff, but go ahead.
So open weight looked great for the women. It was Morgan and everybody else. Yeah. So it was funny. I was having a conversation the next day. I was having a conversation with Katana Everett. She was there. She wasn't able to fight. She's having a problem with her knee right now.
Dang.
So I really kind of wanted to see that because that was the thing is wanted to see that in Minnesota at the Diamonds, right?
Yep.
So we wanted to see she's going to be there. Morgan's going to be there. You've been stepping up. Who is it? Right?
Yeah. Right.
We didn't get to see it because Morgan couldn't fight. Well, now it's flip-flopped the opposite way. All right? You're there. Morgan's here. Can we see it? But we didn't see it. All right?
Yeah.
And when we were talking to this, she was this kind of thing. She's like, what else? What do you think I have to do? What do you think I have to improve on? I was like, well, number one, it doesn't matter what I think.
Yeah.
Right? But it starts and ends with Morgan. That's it. Because it doesn't matter who it doesn't for the women, it doesn't matter who else you beat.
No.
Right? You could go on a run. If you don't beat her, it doesn't matter.
No.
It really doesn't.
No.
But for the men, and that's the thing is for the men, you can set milestones because it becomes interchangeable sometimes from tournament to tournament. For the women, it does not. That's kind of what I was mentioning. I was like, listen, unless you're talking about going overseas, unless you're talking about going to Europe and dominating there, it doesn't matter. It's Morgan. That's the only thing to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's all right, I want to see if I could beat Kayla. Fine, but Kayla didn't beat Morgan.
Yeah.
So she's really the only thing to really set your standard at,
Right.
So, Morgan did not disappoint.
No.
I mean, she's just
great
there.
weekend. Great weekend.
Absolutely. 5 Warrior Cups.
Yep. Pretty sweet, man.
That's something. 10 in the family, and she's got half of them.
Men's open weight. What?
Okay,
Avery?
So Avery won it, and it kind of stinks that he and Kevin fought before the final fight. I left. I didn't even see the final fight because I thought, that was it. I didn't see the final fight. It was
Oscar
Guzman. Yeah, Oscar Guzman, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. I thought that was it. No, that wasn't. And I kind of wish it would have been that way. We'd have got a chance to see Kevin in the final.
Right.
But Oscar beat Jack, which I didn't see coming either.
Yeah. I complained to you guys about that, how that made no sense whatsoever. I think I even said that last week. I didn't like that.
The only reason it made sense was because they had decided that ahead of time.
Okay.
They decided that ahead of time. So, all right.
Yeah,
if that's
I get that.
If you're going to stick by your word, okay.
Yes, but again, how does someone who doesn't win their division or whatever make it to the final? And that's just my thing. I don't like that.
Well, it would be the same thing as if you put Kevin there. If you decided, all right, we're going to make the heavyweight.
Yeah, it wouldn't have. No.
So then what are you saying? You should only have 3 people?
Right. If you win 2 divisions, you get a bye. I mean, you win 2 divisions for a reason. What? It's like, all right, so I beat all these people, but it doesn't count. It actually hurt me, then helped me. That doesn't make any sense. So that's my whole thing.
So what you're saying is then, because then Oscar, because what if Oscar came back and won?
Yeah, I actually was hoping that would happen just so that way I could complain about it more. But then also say, hey, good job because he kind of came.
The big complaint would be is if Oscar beat Jack, or if Chris, and then if Chris beat Avery, if Oscar beat Chris, if that's how it went down.
Wait, Chris,
because the way it went down, Chris Robinson.
Oh,
4 people was Chris Robinson, Oscar Guzman, Jack Felton, Avery Plowden.
Right.
Oscar beat Jack.
Right.
Chris lost to Avery. So Avery beat Chris, and then it was Avery beating Oscar
again.
Correct.
Right.
I'm
just saying, someone that would get second place shouldn't be in the finals. That's all I'm saying.
Now, but
that's simple. It's a simple thing. It has nothing to do with Oscar.
I don't think it would be that big a deal if Oscar beat Avery. Then it's like, okay, well, you beat.
What do you mean? If he beat Avery, then he would have been in there anyway. He would have won open weight
in the final. Like if you would have beat him in the final for the cup.
Okay, then that's a whole other thing, and that's a whole other topic. The guy that shouldn't even have been in the finals won it, which is a great comeback story.
The only thing I think there's a big complaint about.
What other second place person got in the finals?
I'm with
nobody.
I'm with you.
No other second place got in the finals. Do you get what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
I think the only scenario where it ends up looking like, okay, maybe that's not right, is if Oscar beats Jack, Chris beats Avery, and then Oscar beats Chris for the final.
It's still the same thing. It doesn't really matter. It's still the same thing. A second place person was in the finals. And this is nothing against personally or anything like that. I don't want people, because I didn't like it the year before when it was that way with Chance or whoever.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. This is
weird. I actually don't have a problem with it.
There has to be some type of consistency. I don't also get why they didn't do it the same way for the women. Like, if they're going to do this for the men, then why don't they do the same exact format for the women? So
they're reactionary when it comes to women, and they just their default is to shortchange the women. Like, they just can't even help themselves but to shortchange the women.
Right.
Until somebody like literally peels their eyelids back, forces their eyes onto what the sheet of paper says, and goes, "Look, you're being an idiot." All right, their nature is to shortchange the women, which is beyond me. Yeah. I can't believe it.
I'm just saying, it's like I've talked about before. It's like, why go and win all these divisions if it doesn't matter anyway? You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it is. So
there's money involved.
Your wins,
there's money involved for the open weight.
Right. So you go and you win it, and then it should matter in the long term too. So I don't know. I guess it's just for a trophy at the end of the day, whatever. But I still.
This is weird that it affects you more than it affects me. Like, I just don't have a problem with it.
Well, because I actually care about like some standards of the sport. There has to be some standards of the sport. There has to be some standards to the sport.
Listen, you make a great point. I actually don't disagree with anything you're saying. I just don't have a problem.
This guy, this one second place, he gets to go to the finals. But nobody else, that makes no sense. That's all I'm saying.
With you.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But sometimes I look at stuff and I say, I don't care.
That's fine. I'm just saying, we're supposed to care about this Warrior Cup and make it a prestigious thing, but you have people that get second place on stage for the actual big award. So that's all I'm saying. So,
all right. So you said you didn't get a chance to watch a lot of the open weight, though, right?
No, none.
Okay, here's a match, and you say like going back and watching fights like after everything's already done is not really your thing. Here's one I want people to look at.
Individual, like I could. I don't want to sit a live stream because again,
neither one of these two people won. This is men's open weight. Ryan George versus Ovalo. I don't know. I was just trying to figure out this guy's couldn't even figure it out. Mm-hmm. It was one of the most amazing kicking matches I've seen. Like the both of them. I was.
What team was he from? Where's he from?
I don't know. It was for open weight. So Here's how you spell his name. Oavallo. He's from Sean Dumlow's school. But I'm looking at the way the two of them fighting, and I'm like, that's
yeah.
This is it's an amazing kicking match. So if you want to look at some great kicking, which I always do, well, look at that.
There you go.
That was good. So did you see Trent Spence fight?
Yes, I got to watch.
3 feet tall and 12 pounds.
I know. I told you guys that.
Yes.
I talk about him a lot.
When he beat Zayn.
Yeah.
He didn't. Zayn beat Zayn. Zayn, I could tell. Like, I'm looking at his facial expressions. Dang. Zayn didn't want to hurt him. That's the thing. That's the thing you don't see in video. I'm watching his face. Zayn literally didn't want to hurt him. That is a weird mental advantage that Trent has on people. As long as he can just have the mental wherewithal to, like, no matter when, just always get up.
Yeah.
And always play like the shucks kind of guy, you'll be able to play that card. I don't care about that. I'll kick in his legs. It doesn't matter to me. But no, Zayn was just sitting there.
Yeah.
A few times. He's just sitting there. So that one was interesting. Enrique Latona looked good. Him beating Bryant. I like Enrique's leg because it's so interesting. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically just side kicks to the body. They're body side kicks, right? But they're not. But he places them in different places, even though they're all at the body. He places them differently, and the chamber will make it look like it's coming in different areas, but it's all still coming in one spot. That's why I find it so interesting. I like his kicks. I don't love his fighting. I don't think he's the best lightweight. I don't think he's the best super. He's just a lightweight. He's not super lightweight, is he? He's a lightweight.
He's lightweight. Yeah.
But that's all right. Okay, let's see here.
What else you want to add about Friday? Because I want to add a couple things.
Go for it.
Just a couple people that were there. First time that Edgar Cordova, my friend from Guatemala, had ever competed at a NASCAR tournament. Won both weapons divisions, ended up winning the 30-plus weapons grand, and was cool, which is something that I really like.
He was fighting, too.
And he fought, yes.
He and I got a chance to talk.
What I really like about something that AKA does is they let the senior grand, on stage to go for the World Cup, which I think is really cool. Great job to them for that. And so it was cool to see him. Same thing to see Chad Cannon. And it still freaks me out that Chad Cannon is 30. But the 30-plus senior grands. So he was on there for that. And so was Edgar. So two guys that I've known for a very, very, very long time.
That tripped me out. And I was seeing Chad holding this, like, it was obviously a first place, like, grand champion trophy. I'm like, what are you? I just watched your division. You weren't the one winning. Like, what? It was, I wasn't registering what had happened. So I was like, nah, he won 30-plus forms grand. And I'm like, shut the front door.
Yeah, man.
That was pretty dope.
I always like Chad's forms. So,
but yeah, he's a martial arts athlete. He's an athlete.
Yeah, man. He is.
He's good.
He is. So, yeah, it was cool to see that. Aiden Constantine was his first tournament as an adult. That was cool to see, and I got to see his form later on. Danny Ekin coming back after injury. Joey Castro being consistent, continuing to keep forward. I mean, some of the guys that won at Diamonds did not win at this one. So, you got a little bit of parity there, but also similar on who was up there. Rashad won his bladed, which I still don't think is his best thing.
What do you think is his best?
His bow stuff, his double bow, triple bow, that stuff is his best.
I just have this feeling like he's going to come out with another weapon.
Oh, he will.
This dude's done tonfa.
I think it'll be a bow, like a double bow with commas on the end of them,
Shut up.
Yeah.
Are you messing with me?
No, I'm serious. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you do that?
I mean, why not just come out with laser beams? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
All
but
right.
yeah, so let's get into Saturday, right? Are we ready for Saturday? Or what?
I'm ready for Saturday.
Yeah, let's go.
So it was a great day. It seemed like everything was going to go smooth because everything started out going that way.
Yeah.
On Friday, I got to the tournament at like 10. Okay.
Yeah.
All the senior women fighting, all the senior women competition was done.
Already done. Yeah.
It was already done.
Yeah.
Done by 10 a.m.
The big news for me on that.
I walked in and they were doing the 30+ men's fighting, and I'm like, all right, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some pretty good stuff. Jason Morelli turned the clock back big time. He still went 40+. He didn't do. I kind of wish he would have done 30+. I'm like, oh, that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
And if he would have been better, because he's a Warrior Cup winner, you know. What if he showed up and put him on a stage? Like, you never know, man.
Wait a minute. So
what?
All right, so they did the 40+, right?
They didn't have the 30+ fight the 40+. Just the 30+ went.
What
they didn't have the
heck? Oh my god!
You know what I mean? I know.
All right. Anyway,
they left it at that. They didn't have the 30+ and the 40+ fight.
Oh, okay. He chose. All right, I figured.
Oh, that's how it went down.
Yeah.
Jason chose not to fight. Chris?
Probably, yeah. Chris, yeah. Team and all that, yeah. Got it.
I don't know, man.
All right, so there.
It's,
all right, I was about to say, I was
weird to me that he would bow out. Not that he's. It's because it's Chicago, and it's the Warrior Cup. That Jason would bow out.
He has several.
I don't know. How many does he have? I know he's got at least one.
Yeah, he's got two.
He's got two.
Yeah.
He's got one in 07.
I've seen him lose. No, I've seen him win one and lose one. Yeah, and then bow out of one. So.
Yeah.
But
so that happened right away. All that stuff was going on.
Yeah. I guess for me, the big news
really
that I heard was, Regina losing to Rasha, which great job for her, really stepping it up and taking her game to the next level. I've known her for like a while now. It's because she would come down to Virginia and train, with Gina and Sean for a long, long time. And now she's been training and training with the Paladins and stuff. So pretty awesome.
Yep. And she trains in Chicago out of TAC, Tankston Academy, Chicago. And, but we would do training sessions every now and then together too. So sometimes the guys, us from the burbs, we would go down to the city, we would train. And sometimes city guys would come up and they would train with us. We do that a lot. Like, we have a pretty good community of martial arts in the Chicagoland area. So obviously I've seen Rasha a lot, right? We go to competitions around the area, see Rasha a lot. She has improved a dramatic amount in a short amount of time. Like, she's gotten a lot better. So, awesome. Yeah, definitely congratulations to Rasha. I hope she just keeps it up. I hope she keeps going. I hope she goes down to 18+ and wins a division there. That would be dope.
All right.
So, getting into it, I'm just looking at the fighting. I'm going to talk about the fighting, and then I'll touch on some forms. Okay? So,
all right. Let's do that. That way I kind of know. Let's go.
I think so. Watching the super lightweight division first, I'm watching it, and I'm like, I don't think anybody's better than John Curatolo.
Mm-hmm.
I think John Curatolo is the best super lightweight fighter. I don't care what kind of Spence is in that division.
Right.
I don't care what kind of Latona is there.
Yeah.
I think John Curatolo is the best.
Okay.
And as good and as effective as a kicker he is, it was strange. He's not even flexible.
Yeah.
He's not. This. It was just weird. I was just doing something. I was at where was it? We were at the U.S. Open, and I was just stretching, and I'm stretching my hips out, and I did the splits. He was like, "Damn, man, I wish I could do that." I'm like, "What? You can't do that?" He's like, "No, I've never been able to do the splits." I was like, "How are you, a guy who kicks as much as you do when you fight, can't do the splits. He goes, no, I really can't. Dude, don't ask him to show you because he'll embarrass himself. But yeah, I think he's the best super lightweight fighter. But then watching, what else was next? Right to the heavyweights. So first of all, light heavyweights, it's strange because it was just Avery, and I don't know who the guy was, but I didn't see it. I was led to believe it was a cheeseburger. Okay, so I don't know. So
all right, so let's go.
But then the heavyweights had like 13, 14 guys.
Wow.
But then I looked at him and I was like, oh man, why don't someone cut like a couple and no, that was not happening.
No,
they were all true heavyweights.
Yeah,
well over two. And as the division started to go, I'm thinking like Jim win this, because Jim lost. Oh gosh, who's the guy from Legend who beat him? I forget the guy's name. But anyway,
and he ended up winning the division, right? That guy.
The guy from Legend won the division.
Yeah,
and he just had the end result. The reason why is he just had more fire. He just had more fire and was just coming with it. Okay, Jose was his name. Jose is coming at him, and Jim is the better fighter, but it was just a little bit out of it. Like the timing wasn't right there with it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The middleweights and the light middleweights were very interesting. So the light middleweights were interesting. Dude, Lonzo messed up my prediction because he cut down. He fought light middleweight. I was like, homie, I said you were going to win the middleweight. So Bryant won middle, and then it was
Kevin.
It came down to Kevin and Ryan. Right?
Okay. Yeah, makes sense to me.
I thought
should
Zoe
always
had a
make
shot, but he didn't fight Kevin the way he needed to, and it came down to Kevin and Ryan. And like I said, Kevin's leg.
Yeah,
I got a crush on.
Yeah,
yes, I'm not even lying.
Oh,
right?
Man.
So, but it was great. He came out ahead. He beat Bryant, and pretty easily. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little upset. At this point. Here's why. So Kevin was ahead by a decent amount. Kevin was ahead by like 4. Put his hand out like this because the time was ticking. It was like, 7, 6, 5. He's up by 4. He's got his hand out like this. And Bryant came anyway, and Kevin's like backing away. Kevin's like, Devin just kind of steps out of the ring. It's like, this match is over. And Bryant hits him. I'd have gotten pissed.
Yeah.
Right? Kevin tried to take. Now, one way or the other, if someone does that, like, all right, it's whatever, right? If someone tells me, like, hey, step back, don't hit, it's over. But it's literally like 5, 4, 3. There's zero shot that you have to win. Zero shot. There's no way you could win. Mm-hmm. He's trying to make it easy, like, let's not hit each other, hurt each other. I understand that. I'm not totally a fan of that. I'm always going to try and get one more.
Yeah.
However, like, all right, you made the choice to come and do that. You understand, you're being kind of a jerk. Right, because he was out of the ring as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have hit Bryant back. I'd have hit him. Right, because Bryant, like, he's saying no, don't come hit me. Bryant made the choice. I'm hitting you anyway. Fine. Yeah. You should deal with the repercussions after that choice. Right. Kevin didn't give it to him. Maybe I don't know. He's not good enough. I don't know.
No, I don't think that's the case. I'm not trying to say whatever, but I mean, I've seen Kevin get pissed off and get tired of that, against certain fighters. So I don't think that's it. I think he's trying to
be diplomatic about
it. He's trying to stay focused on the game plan, of winning and on to the next. I won this one. Let's go to the next.
Yeah, that's true.
Because let's be honest,
he's won more than
me. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Who is he fighting next? Avery. So he needs to focus on Avery, not on getting revenge on Bryant. Right? Right.
Yeah, that's
all right.
I still would have hit him.
All right. And then who knows what would have happened.
Yeah, I know.
So there you go. So that's your whole weekend done.
The welters, Jack came out of the welterweights.
Yep. So the fight I got to watch was like the last fight of the day was the Enrique and Jack fight. So
here's what's interesting about this. I want to mention something. So because Chris talked about this, how Enrique had 2 kicks that got scored for him when he had 1 foot out of bounds.
Right.
Which is, no, you cheated. You're out of the competition area that we are allowed to fight in. You're not in that, and you're still fighting. What pissed me off is the same. Listen to this, though. Listen to this. All right, listen to this. The same exact officials that were in that. Or who was the center? I'm trying to remember who the center was.
Joey Perry.
Okay, Joey. Yes,
Yeah,
he was also an official for men's open either men's open weight or it was men's team fighting. It was team fighting, and I was behind Alonzo Payne. I was coaching him, and Alonzo pushed this kid out of the ring, and then he hits him, and he goes, "No, point. He's out of the ring." And I'm like, "What do you mean he's out of the ring? He's not out of the ring. He was fighting. He hit him, and he goes, "No, he had both feet out of the ring." I was like, "Not his fault.
Yeah,
it's that fighter's job to stay inside the ring, right?" So what that being said, you could just fly out of the ring, and then it doesn't matter. Like that's not within the rules.
Right.
It is within the rules in Europe. That's not these rules.
Yeah, in Waco. Yeah,
right?
That's what I was gonna say.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not these rules. But then flip it. That now you can literally be out of the ring and score.
Yeah.
Like you can't decide what side of the mouth you want to speak out of.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that pisses me off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris mentioned this that drove me bonkers. Talk about rules. And I try not to get negative, but there ain't a lot of positive things to say about this. What really irks me is when we change the rules and make them up on the spot, and you lie to people, you spit on their face and tell them that it's raining. Right? I'm so pissed. There's a guy in the Chicago area. His name's Jake McGinnis. He's from TAC, Tanks and Academy Chicago. Really good fight. He gets, I think he was in the welterweight. Okay. He gets cleared to go out there and fight. He's got no elbow pads. He didn't know. Okay. He's out there fighting. He's got no elbow pads. Scores like 4-3, something of that nature. Okay. And they were like, "No, you don't have any elbow pads. Penalty point to the other person." All right. So he's got to go get them. And he said, "Okay, well, he's got the elbow pads now. Right. Can we get the point? Like, why are you doing that?" And he says, "No, you were supposed to have them." Now, Dewan was coaching him. Dewan said, "You checked him.
Yeah.
You checked him and said he was okay. And now you're penalizing him because you didn't do your job."
Right.
Right?
Makes no sense.
So then he goes, "We got the elbow pads now. We're doing what we're supposed to do. Don't penalize him for that." All right. And he says, "Nope, we're keeping it like that." So he says, "Well, I want to talk to an arbitrator. I don't even know if this is a real rule." All right. The arbitrator goes, "Nope, that is the case. Now, since you lost the arbitration, he gets another point. Nobody has hit anybody. Nobody did anything. And this guy got 2 points for doing nothing."
Nothing. Yeah.
The match was won by 1 point.
I've never heard that whole arbitration and you lose a point thing until Chris said it, and I was like, "Wait, what?"
Never heard it before.
Arbitration, you lose
Listen to this. Listen to this. So he says, "That's not a real thing." Larry Carnahan was standing right there, and he goes, "Yeah, that's always been a thing. That's always been a thing." And he's like, "No, that's not." He goes, "Yeah, it's in the rule book." And he goes, "All right, well, can you show me in the rule book? Because I've literally never seen that before. Never heard of that."
Yeah.
What do you think happened?
Oh, no, we haven't entered it into it.
No, we don't. I don't know. We got to. All right, run the match. Oh, okay. So it's all of a sudden a cemented thing until someone asks you to show them the cement. And then all of a sudden the cement is imaginary.
Right.
It's like, that's the thing. It's like, if you would have just said, "Listen, I'm the president. I decide this is what I want it to be. I don't like that this happened. This is what I say." Okay. Nobody can defend that. If you say, "I'm the man, I say do this, this is the way it's going to end," then nobody can say anything about that. Just don't lie to people.
Well, to me, the biggest issue of that whole thing was that he shouldn't have started fighting without elbow pads. That's not his fault. That is you don't take a point away because you didn't do your job. And then guess what? Okay, we have to stop. If you want to stop in the middle of the fight to put them on because you realize, hey, you got to put that on. Okay, put it on. But there's no point taken away for that. That's just ridiculous because it was two people that do something wrong. He didn't read the rules or whatever to do what he was supposed to, but the person who was supposed to be on the other end double checking that didn't do their job either. So there was two wrongs.
Yeah, so, and I don't have a lot of other rule things like that from the tournament. The only thing I heard, and I didn't even see anything of it. Some people tell me like, yeah, they're mixing Pro-Mac rules with NASCAR rules, and they're getting themselves confused.
I'm hearing that from sometimes.
Yeah, I heard that, but I didn't have an example or hear exactly what that was.
For me, I'm just going to say this, and I like what Pro-Mac's doing. I like that they're trying to, of course, put some certifications in place. When you do that, when you are doing something that is either right or getting some steam, you are going to get a lot of haters. So there's a lot of people on the NASCAR that do not like the Pro-Mac judges, do not like the results of how many Pro-Mac judges are there when in every division there are 2 Pro-Mac judges. Now I have seen that there were some, like watching the junior runoffs, I was a little, just some of the people that were in there were a little sketchy to me. I'm like, is this really? Yeah, is this really the talent level? How did this person win this division? How did this happen? How did this happen? So for me, just looking at who was up there and knowing the talent level that was there, it was a little like, okay. From what I'm hearing, there were a lot of like 8, 5, 8, you know what I mean? And that kind of up and down where it was just a lot of, difference. Now, is that all Pro-Mac judges fought? No, I don't think so. I think though, and I don't know if they even do rules meetings. I don't know. I don't know how they do. Really, you need to do a rules meeting per ring and really talk to those judges and get everyone on board. That's how you should do it.
Yep.
Really.
You really should.
The last year I had my tournament, we just did where the arbitrator went to each ring, had a 5 to 10 minute with each one before the tournament start. And that way they're focused on what they're doing. And it's actually easier because you can controlling 40, 50 people at one point is hard at one time. Talking to 4 or 5 in a good conversation, way better, right?
Yep.
So, and you can address the things that they actually need to address for that ring. I don't need to listen to self-defense rules if I'm not doing self-defense. So, so there we go. So I'm just saying that is something that's kind of been brought up. So, all right.
Did you hear anything about the mats?
No, I did not. I heard the year before, slick.
Oh, they were slick.
But those are the ones they had the year before. They were brand new, and there was a lot of issues with that. I remember hearing that from the year before. I guess they haven't brought them out. But, they have a couple other tournaments they do, like the Naperville one, a couple other ones. So maybe they bring them out. I'm not sure. I've been the same issue with new mats.
They're pretty slick.
But
they were slick. Yeah. It was got like here's
the problem with it. You get mats separate just for your event, right? Which everyone's like, all right, these are mats just for my event. Then I'll have mats just for my school.
You never use them throughout the year.
You never use them throughout the year. And honestly, but at the same time, so you put them in your school. Then you go and do your tournament. You take them all up. And then guess what? You got to go back the next day and
you know what's really bad about them? Listen to this. People take the mats. They take the mats for the tournament, just for the tournament.
Yeah.
All right. And then they take them out back. They put them in storage. Then they put them back out there again.
Yep.
You know it's not happening?
No one's cleaned them.
Nobody's cleaning those dang mats.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I know.
They're the most disgusting things ever.
Yep. You got to clean them at least 2 times.
And then you know what? And you know what's wild is people will put their babies on there like, oh, look at this girl on the mats. And I'm like, yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right. So are we getting in the finals or where are we at now? I mean,
We're getting to the finals.
We're getting into
the show. I had a
takeaway.
I got to tell you. Yeah, we're getting towards the end of the show, but I got to tell you, there's just something. Avery and Morgan winning.
Oh yeah.
There's just something about it. Like, when Morgan won, I didn't even watch her division on Saturday. When I watched her win open weight, I mean, it was a challenge in some respects, but like, she just had this like dominance where it was just like, in the end, everybody just was kind of looking out for it. Like, they wanted to win. They felt like they were going to win. But just in the end, it was just like, no, she's taking control of this thing. And it was the same thing. Like, Avery and Kevin went into overtime both times in open weight and for the heavyweight grand.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And if you'd have said Kevin would have won one of them or both of them, that the way that fight was going, that is totally possible. Right? But when you're the wise man once told me this. He said, winning is contagious.
Yep.
And so is losing.
Yep.
So and he said, so decide which one you're going to be. And I'm like, damn. But it really is like, and it wasn't like he ever like got calls he wasn't supposed to get. You know, some of them could have went either way, I suppose. But it's just like, in the end, like, he just asserted his will and just said, this is mine, give it to me. And the both of them did that in a way where it's like, it just doesn't look like it's going to be anybody else the next time.
Right.
The way you did it.
Yeah. All right. As we're getting into the finals, this is my big beef, and Chris knew I was going to talk about as well.
Yep.
So they ran so I got to watch the traditional runoffs. They ran the traditional runoffs for adults. They ran the 30-plus runoffs for adults. They run the women's grands in the final. So they run all that down to those three, and then they don't do a runoff for the CMX, for the men's CMX. And what's even worse is, okay, they do that. So they have 7 people in the finals, which honestly is too much, especially when you're going to go the last one.
It is way too much.
So you have 3 winners versus 4 of everybody. Again, kind of similar to what I'm saying about the second place being involved. And then what do? You just throw those winners in front. You didn't even shuffle it all. You just said, all right, you're 30 plus, you're going first. You're traditional, you're going first. Women, you're going third. All the CMX are going 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Same thing they did in the weapons. Exact same thing. Edgar went first in the weapons. Chad Cannon went first in the forms. Traditional weapons, they didn't have because Jackson won, and he took his spot in the other one. So he didn't. The women's weapons.
Oh, you mean they shouldn't have had the runner-up for Jackson going
Heck
there?
no, they should not.
They
shouldn't
have done that.
Now I wonder why they didn't do that, because he chose to do.
I gave you a gimme there. I gave you.
I'm just saying. Okay. I mean, come on. So that part I just don't like. It's just, and people, they're all going, oh well, we watch all of them anyway. Bull crap. It does. Listen. The order does matter, especially in the finals, because you're talking about momentum. You're talking about, especially if you put 3, 4, 5 CMX forms back to back. The energy is the same. It gets pumped up.
The reason why it matters so much. If you would have threw in
a Japanese in the end of it, it could throw the rhythm off, and everyone would be like, "Oh, I was so hyped," and then, "Oh wow, did you see Joey?" Like that made me not even worry about what I just saw before that.
That's true, but the reason
putting
why
Joey first, it's different.
Well, that's also true, but the reason why it's really bad is because they intentionally did that. They intentionally did that for a reason. Purpose. So if you say, "Oh, we're going to do all these guys last," it's a subconscious thing. Like, there's a reason why they're going last.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. This must be who I'm looking out for. Because what do we always do? Who goes last in every division? The seeds.
Right. Here's my problem with it. All right. In the other thing, all of these stuff is AKA Warrior Cup only. So it's not a NASCA overall grand. It's not whatever. So they can do whatever they want. The problem is the CMX Grand is a NASCAR overall Grand.
Yep.
So they didn't even run that. And so that should have been run. So that way, then you can do then you have 4. You can do
so what did they do with that? Who did they have?
Thing. So
whoever won the Warrior Cup?
So Danny won that, and then whoever was runner, they'll look at the scores and look at who was runner-up to get runner-up points and then get the money. So I guess Aiden was the runner-up, so he gets the runner-up money for that Grand. Even though he was competing against Joey and other people, like, it's just not the same. I remember they did it when they were doing the traditional Grand and the Open Grand, and then they decided for a while, all the adult competitors, we don't want to run off. We're too cool to run off. So we'll throw us all up there. And it was the most confusing thing because you're having all of us compete for one title, but then also compete for individual Grands as well. So
you can't do that.
You might have gotten 5th place overall in the Grand, but you ended up being 2nd place or even 1st place in the traditional Grand.
But here's what's really bad about it. You've been to a high school graduation before, right?
Yes.
Outside of your own, right?
Yes.
So, and when you're sitting there, really all you care about
that person
is the name called of the person you want to see.
Yep.
The rest of the time is stupid and agonizing, and you regret being there.
Right.
That's what it's like when a finals is this long. Nobody cares about all of that, right?
I'm telling you, I sat there and I watched it for 4 or 5 hours, and I was kicking myself why I stayed up to watch it. But I knew that, what? I didn't get to watch so much stuff. I wasn't there like you guys. I need to do my research. This is part of my job now, right? This is part of what I do. So I need to do this. I'm texting Jared Liker the whole time. He's in Spain, trying to get on a flight. Him and I are just going back and forth like, this is awful, blah, 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 blah. Now, I don't want to bash completely the AKs. I really like the event. The way it's set up.
It's a pretty good.
The way it looks up good. It looks good. It's professional looking.
There's a couple of things that work.
I think they tried to put on a good show. The timing and placement of the demos they did, because of how long it was, did not come off good. If they would have shortened it and not had all the other extra stuff, if they would have ran everything off, so that way all you had was Warrior Cup stuff, even juniors, all the other stuff, it would have been better.
Well, I'll tell you this: outside of the finals, I give the tournament an A.
All right.
I'll give it an A. All right.
Yeah.
The problem is that's a big dang thing, right? The finals itself was almost as long as the entire tournament in the elimination.
Right.
They opened the doors at 7.
Yeah.
And I think it was after midnight by the time it was done.
Close to midnight, yeah. Apparently, yeah.
What?
Yeah. So.
And all of the fighting was done by 8:45.
Yeah. So the big theme of the night was, what was the big thing of the night, do you think?
Well, that'd be different for me.
No. That was put off by AKA and the show and the commentator or the announcer. What was the big theme of the night?
By chat?
Yeah, what was the theme that he was putting out to everybody? Oh, you weren't there, so
no.
All right.
Tell me.
So it was all about how many sport karate superstars and NASCAR champions are in the stunt world and in the movie world, right?
That's right.
Here's the deal.
I was live streaming. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Here's the deal. That's amazing. I love that. And if you want to really make that a big deal and highlight that, that's great. But it was overkill to the point that we almost started to hate the fact that any of us were involved in stunts and that.
But listen to this. You know what's so interesting about that? You'll say, all right, this person was a stunt person for this, high-level actor.
Right.
Well, why didn't he say that Avery was a training partner for Tyron Woodley? Why didn't he say that?
Right.
I'll tell you why.
Because it wasn't formed.
He didn't know. He didn't know.
Right. Guarantee
you he does not know that. Number 2, he doesn't care. So why do I care that this person's in the stunt world.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it would have been better.
All you have to say, I don't care.
It would have been better, and it would have been better for the show and kept everybody going if they did if you know what, they done the KA and Nasty tribute, and then you done even if it was a 5-minute highlight video of highlighting all the people from our world that are doing big things now, because that's what AKA really pushes. Like, there's things like that. You can do a little bit here or there, but he's just got overkill, and people were getting tired. You know? And so there's that.
Now, how about this? Here's something I had a thought about. So everybody says this all the time. Get rid of the Hall of Fames. Get rid of everybody come on hands and shaking hands.
They didn't do the Hall of Fame in this one. So.
But with all of those, I think you could still accomplish that in a different way. So what if, all right, we decide, okay, let's just say we decide Jeff Doss is going to be in the next Tournament's Hall of Fame, right?
Okay.
Compete nationals. Okay, let's say you're going to be in the Hall of Fame. Rather than make a big announcement on the finals, what if there was a poster of Jeff Doss throughout the entire tournament over the whole weekend?
Right.
Jeff Doss inducted into the Hall of Fame. Like, that's it right there.
Yeah.
So now it actually accomplishes more, giving respect to you and what you've done. And we don't have to waste time.
Yeah.
But when you add all of the extra things that they did do, because I actually like the trick battle. I do. I like that. I think that's cool.
I like it too. That wasn't really, and it wasn't that long compared to other
adding
stuff,
everything else.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I mean.
Done, man.
But I mean, when you're adding 2 side swipe demos, 3 side swipe demos.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's what I mean. And it's just kind of like, all right.
One demo.
Yeah. Well, and then there's weird placement. Like, you're gonna make all the junior forms run off and do their 4 grands right there. Then you go right into their overall forms grand, like right back into, like, it's just
should have done that. The weird part is they already did runoffs.
That was for adult towing. They did.
Did.
Well, all right, they do the individual grand runoff, then they do the overall grand on stage, and then they did an overall, which is the AKA. So it's just a little too much.
So wouldn't it have made more sense?
A lot too much.
If they would have just done the grands before the finals?
Right.
There's no rule that says you have to do the grand championships in the finals.
No, I don't think so.
So what if they just that would have been a much more enjoyable experience if they would have just done the grands.
Right. But again,
separate.
Then they wouldn't
then
have
you
been
come back
done
for the
until
Warrior
5 or
Cups.
6. Then they wouldn't have been done until 5 or 6. But whatever.
But the finals would have been done by 10.
Yeah. Well, honestly,
earlier.
They should have done the runoffs for junior weapons on Friday night. They should have done the run, because they get all those divisions done on Friday night. You should do the CMX runoffs on Friday night. US Open does that, or did that.
That's a good point.
I mean, why not do that? That way it's done, and then you don't have to wait. All you have is your traditional grands on the next day. So, let's see, a couple more things. All right, with forms, Danny Ecken won. Honestly, by this time, I was so tired, and I just kind of expected him to win. I don't really know if I really like Aiden's form, probably better. And I was actually impressed by Joey's form for the finals. I watched it during the day for the traditional runoff, and I just don't think he was pushed. It wasn't.
So
my
you thought he
favorite
did
of his
enough
form.
to win? He just did enough to win to get there?
In the runoff, yeah. I just was, and
people do that sometimes.
Yeah, and I was still upset about my boy Edgar Cordova getting 6th place in Korean, which was, come on, get out of here. Should not happen. Anyways, but been there, done that. As far as with that, let's see who won. Jackson won. Let's see, what are we looking at? 7, 8?
He's got 7 cups.
I thought he did 7. I thought he did this.
He did the 7.
But did he do this? Did I miss a thumb in there? I thought he did 7.
I think he did. I think he's got 7, is what he said.
All right. So, great form was good. I'm trying to think of it. Honestly, to me, that one stood out enough to win it. And
What grade would you give the
I
tournament?
really like Julia Plocker though. Julia Plocker.
Yeah,
Julia, and she was probably one of my favorites. I liked her form. She to me should have been second if they were going that, or possibly enough to win. So, as far as the women's forms, I thought Noelle Jellison should have won. So that's my opinion on that one. I thought she should have been there for the Warrior Cup. So
I'm always going to root for Noelle.
Yeah, and let's see what else.
What grade would you give the tournament?
Well, I wasn't there, so it's not fair.
I know, but of what you know.
No. I can only grade the finals, so I will grade the finals. I will grade the finals a C. So I think the reason why, because all right, stage, presentation, media, lighting, all of that, A+.
DJ, Will
all
Sinclair.
That.
Will Sinclair's a good DJ.
A+. Then I go commentator, started bringing it down. The length started bringing it down. The judging.
That's funny. It seems like the most famous person in the room. Commentator.
Just the flow, the coordination of it was down. So I think they did a lot on the front end to really like make it look cool, but they didn't have the real details in place to make it overall the best show. When you put on a finals, you got to have a finals coordinator. You got to have at least 2 people to work staging for the competitors next to the stage, and then competitors out where they're warming up to get them to come. You got to have the same thing, like a chief referee or a referee coordinator to make sure they're where they need to be. You need to have someone, that coordinator, that's communicating any changes that happen from the referees to the competitors to that commentator. There has to be all that going on. I'm sorry, announcer, whatever. But there's a lot of that. You also have to have the same thing with media, especially now when you have the cameras and everything going on. They need to know what's going on. There's
I like it a
lot
when Sport Martial Arts had Mallory Woods as like a field interviewer. He would be there, and I think the Battle has done that a few times.
Diamonds did it, I remember.
But the Battle did it when they actually broadcasted it up.
Up
on the screen.
Yeah.
That was pretty dope.
That's cool, but again, you're complaining about you're complaining about how long it is already. You know how much time that takes. The biggest thing. Oh man,
60% of the finals out though. Of what there is.
I agree. I agree.
I would cut it.
One of the coolest thing that we tried at Super Grands one year was a group called Cobra Source, and they would do that and try to interview all the champions. Well, you're talking about 40 divisions, and you're trying to do 40 interviews.
Not everybody.
It's way too much. Right. It's way too much. It was a great idea. I think, little here and there, but yeah. So that was my thing. Other things that stood out, watching the team fight. What did you think of the matchups for Proper versus All Stars? I mean, we're just gonna finish with talking about this. We're probably not even gonna. We may talk about a little bit here there with competitors.
No, I thought it was probably the best that Proper was going to come up with. What else?
I don't know.
Who else would you?
The last time that, all right. So here's the deal. When you just look at history,
Jack fight.
The last time that Luis fought Jack, he beat Jack by a good amount. I think that was a American kick or something. Now again, that's Jack. That's Jack Felton.
And Luis anchored though, right?
Yes.
But look at this though. Look at what you're going to have though. Kevin's going to anchor. Kevin literally just beat Bryant. What else are you going to do?
No, I mean, I get all that. I guess for me,
and think about
who's your best player on your team? Bryant, right? Yeah.
But then look at what you did though. Okay, you just gave yourself a lead. In the first round they had a lead. Okay,
a 4-point lead.
Okay, it's okay. So then you send
Jack. What? Right, Jack.
Yeah. Jack went up next. All right. Oh no, I think they had.
And then Jorge. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are you gonna do? I think that's probably the best thing that they were going to come up with. It just didn't work out.
Right.
Like, what are you going to do? Like, this is your best matchup. It still didn't work out for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you feel like you have an advantage in any of that, you need to just go for it. You know, that's just it. If you feel like you're one shot to, I mean, it's teams.
Yeah.
You got to go for the lead. You know, if you were in the lead, you got to like get that spread so crazy. You know, now on the other end, that other person doesn't need like Chris, like you said, he didn't need to try to cut it so much. He just needed to keep it right there. Because guess what? He's got Jack and Kevin right there. So
I mean, one way or the other. Okay, so if Luis fought Jack, what did you think was going to happen?
I think it probably would have been closer.
No.
But I still think
I think Jack would. I think Jack would have.
I think so. But what I'm saying is that you still, like, if you're looking on paper, you're looking at strategy, you're looking at this and that. I just don't know if putting Bryant first is the best thing. That's my only thing. So I don't know. It worked out. Yeah. Well, it worked out for All-Stars, yeah. It didn't work out for proper. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work out for proper. That's all I'm saying. But, I mean,
I suppose. But that's the thing is you could run those right back, and what if it turned out Proper's way? Then I guess those matchups aren't bad.
Let's be honest. Like, did you think that Oscar was going to be Jack? I thought he had a good chance, but no. You know?
No.
I mean, no. So we again, both thought, we could go back and forth, and we could say this is so stupid, this or that, and then be wrong. You know, that's all right.
That's what's great about this is you can match everything up. In the end, they still have to fight.
Right.
And it's still one-on-one when it's in there. It's not like stacking a pro team, you know?
Yeah.
In the pro team, like one person can lay an egg, and you got the rest of the team. Not this. You could say, oh man, it's Avery against someone else who's really never won anything.
Correct.
They still have to fight the fight. They still have to do the match. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So, and then you know what? Then they added in team forums and team demo in there in the end. Oh my God. All right. Those things should be done in the beginning. Sorry. Those are those types of things. Like a team demo is something that should be in
the finals.
Should be in the beginning that gets everybody pumped up.
They should not be in the finals.
You don't think it should be in the finals? Wow.
You should either have the team demo winner be the demo of the
finals, that's what they did. They didn't do a head-to-head.
Or have a set demo. Just have that done. Why does everything have to be in the finals? It does not have to be in the finals.
I agree, but you don't understand what happened. They put them in as a demo.
I know that. Yes, but it doesn't have to be.
No, I get it. I think that there should be some stuff. Guess what? When are the most people there to watch something?
Right away.
In the beginning of the tournament on Saturday morning. Do a demo there to get everybody pumped up. Boom, let's go. Everybody go to your visions. Boom. Why not? You had the winner that night.
You've mentioned that before.
Yeah,
you've mentioned that. That's not a bad plan.
Why not? Get the energy going. A trick battle to start the day off. You know, at 8 in the morning, 8:30.
Ooh, an 8 in the morning trick battle.
Whatever.
Ugh.
I've done it.
My
people were pumped up
thinking about that.
Dude, they don't care about none. Half of them even stretch.
They don't.
Guthrie's the only one I know that stretches now. So. But anyways,
let's go into our competitors of the week.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go first or should I?
I'll go first because I haven't mentioned him, and he stood out to me because I saw his
saving mine as well.
And Caio Dasilva, this kid is awesome. I thought at one point he was on straight up. I don't know if he is right now or not. When he does his form, it's kind of plain. So he won the Warrior Cup the past 2 years. He won, the 14 to 17 forms, traditional. He does the Japanese form, Japanese Okinawan forms. Man, this kid is strong. I think he's only 14 or 15. He's still young. And he's got a presence that takes him to the next level. It's not just how strong and how good the form is. It's that he controls the stage. He controls that. And that's the difference than just having a pretty form or oh, this is the hot form right now in traditional form, so I'm doing it, so I'm going to win. No, you have to actually be good, and you have to actually like be able to make people like want to watch you. And this kid is awesome. So big up to Caio.
It's a pretty big endorsement.
Loved watching his forms. So good job.
My competitor of the week is also a winner from this weekend's tournament at the AK Warrior Cup. It is Mason Bumba.
Yeah.
Mason. So I'll tell you this. Just it takes a decent amount to make me look at forms now and go, wow, right? Because they've all just started to blend together. They've all started to merge together. And I love high-level forms.
Right.
I watched Mason's form and I was like, dang.
Yeah, it's creative.
Wow.
Super creative.
It is creative. It is super extreme. It is super out there. I saw none of that stuff coming. That's the biggest thing. Is if I see it,
some of his
if I can see that it's gonna if I can tell
background in there too.
Yeah, but if I can tell what's gonna happen next, I'm not impressed by it. It's just like right. I could tell that, but so much of that I had no clue what was coming.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's his form was good. One little and I was telling Jarrett this, who runs the team that he's on.
Yeah, he's on Top 10 USA.
Yeah, and I was saying my only thing with Mason that I just can't stop watching is the stances, and I don't know if it's that he's just. I was like, I don't know if it's just that he's so freaking lanky that I'm just showing it, but his back knee, bends a lot, and so I think that if he really works on that, that's what's going to take him that next level. Is that, and what Jared was telling me is a lot of it actually is his background. He comes from like kung fu style that was with that originally.
It was a kung fu school. I know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It was a kung fu school that really kind of went under.
Yeah.
And then his dad opened up a school.
Yeah.
Right. And then wasn't so much a kung fu school at that point.
Right.
And then that one didn't continue. And then they've just been kind of moving since.
Yeah.
All right.
So, man, when he starts sticking those, and then you really like when he hits something, it's boom, and it's a pause. That's gonna take it because he won the Warrior Cup finally. He's been runner up. I think Jared told me the past 3 years. He won it. He has the most high level. His striking is awesome, and his creativity is awesome, and his tricking is awesome. So it's a great form. And when he sticks it, now he's gonna take it to the next level. So
he's a good fighter.
Yeah, he's a good fighter.
He's a good fighter.
Good fighter.
Right?
Yeah. He's an all-around competitor.
Yeah.
So
big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are our competitors of the week. I have a should it stay or should it go?
Oh, come on, man.
And we've been touching on it.
Okay.
And I have two kind of should it stay or should it goes, but they're about the finals.
Okay.
And I'm interested to hear your opinion. Should there be a time limit?
What do you mean a time limit?
On the finals, right? If you're in this circuit, you starting, you're ending, whatever you're going to do, you put in whatever you want. This is how much time you have. Or should there be a set things? These are what's in the finals.
All right. So not grown up, but as far as a promoter, I've always had things that had to be in the finals. That was part of what we did. If you were having a national finals with the NBL, it was you had these you had to do. You could add a few things if you wanted, but these were what you had to do. There were some little tweaks in there, some options. And so for me, I wanted to kind of switch that up because I just thought that some of it was too much, And no matter what or how efficiently you ran it, you're talking about a sport that there may be an injury timeout in sparring. There may be some injury things here or there. I mean, like we said, a basketball game may end up being way longer, So you have a set time, but there's also several different things that may have happened music issues, this or that. So you can't be like having a clock in the back. I know you won't do this, but just being like, it has to be, 3 hours. Oh, we went over, shut it down, or you pay a fine. When that wasn't that promoter's fault because, let's say I'm going to throw their name out there because they get hurt a lot, especially in tournaments. Say if Willie gets hurt, all right? So Willie has his 5-minute timeout. So he gets his 5-minute medical timeout during the semis. He gets the same thing during the finals. Seen it happen. And added 10 extra minutes. Then you have whatever other possible issues. Maybe there's an arbitration. Maybe there's something else. That's an extra 15, 20 minutes. That was not your fault. So,
but what you do about that is your responsibility. So here's
not during, but ahead of time. But ahead of time
is your responsibility, and let me explain why. So you ever realize how a boxing event, like a professional, like full contact fight event, never has things where they have too much things. They never have too many things. They never have too much time, right?
Right.
Because sometimes fights don't go the distance.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't have the whole card end in half the time. So what they do is they have demos waiting to go. Filler demos. I've been that guy, all right? So what they do is like, all right, this one only went 3 rounds. And they let me know, like, hey, if this one doesn't go the distance, we're going to have you go out for a couple minutes. Someone will flash and let you know, all right, you're done.
But our sport's the opposite, Chris. Our sport's the opposite. Our sport only has the option of going longer, not shorter. Okay?
No, it is.
Unless someone gets 10-point spread, but that's barely happens.
No. That's
our sport does not go shorter. It goes longer.
I say we do. We either have a time limit or we have an event limit. I think an event.
No, you need an event list. That's what I already said anyway.
Event list and limit.
Right.
When you saw that event list, you had to look at that and go, "This is impossible."
No. I agree on that. There's so many. No, I agree on that part. Yes, but what I'm saying is that you can't compare a sport that has knockouts to a sport like ours that actually will only get further. A fight between Avery and Jack can only get longer, not shorter, unless, you can get a 10-point spread, but most likely they're going to go to overtime. Guess what? You got to win by 2 points now. So that's an extra 5 minutes.
Look at that. So then aren't you saying if everything we do can only go longer?
Exactly. Limited on that.
We need a dramatic limit on what we put in there.
I am agreeing with you on that. So I'm not saying that. Right. But as far as doing a time, everyone we should be shooting for 2.5 hours. That's really what we should be shooting for. 2 really. But how long is a movie that before you fall asleep?
That's the other thing.
2 hours?
So it's interesting you said it like that. So just people's attention for media and entertainment, the amount of time has just dramatically come down. Right?
Yeah.
And even when you go to a movie, you go see a movie that is made today versus a movie that was made in the 70s. Look at the way the movies start. Like one of my favorite movies is Rocky. It takes a long time for that movie to develop and get going. It's a great movie, right? But if you watch it objectively now, you're like, wow, this takes like 45 minutes to really get going, right?
Right.
But you could never make that movie today. No one would ever make that movie. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yet we're still in an activity that where you mentioned, the sport, it can only go longer.
Yeah.
And we don't want to limit any of that.
Yeah. No, there needs to be a set list. The problem is when you start giving that. All right. So maybe not a set, like you have to put these divisions in because we did that in NBL and people really balked at it. But the competitors liked it because they knew what was going to finals. It was great for them. The promoters did because they wanted to do what they wanted to do. Everyone wanted to do their own show, which I think you need to have a little bit of your own flavor into it.
So what if you had, how about this?
So
maybe not like a set list, but a set amount.
Right. And I was getting into that, what you were saying. Yeah. And a set amount, maybe. Yeah. Maybe good as well. I think there is a lot of value in consistency, though. And that's just my whole thing with that. Consistency on the rules, consistency on the finals, the way it should be. Yeah. So, I mean, that's my whole thing that really kind of downgrades the finals, AKA for me. And even the tournament was consistency. So,
yeah.
One thing before
ahead.
I leave with just killing my chat. I do think that if he had a partner or an announcer with him, I think it would have been better because I think
like a play-by-play and a color commentary.
Right. Just
he was trying to do both.
I like doing two. I mean, I think even having Mallory as that, and then Mallory focusing mostly when he did the fighting on it, but he could still. All you have to do is say the scores. All you have to do that. It's not like he.
So do you mean?
It's so weird that okay, Mallory's only good enough to do the fighting. He can't read the scores. Come on, Mallory can talk, so let him talk.
So having like a duel, like a duo,
right?
Kind of like when Willie and Regina would do the finals.
Oh, that was okay.
Isn't that not
that's
the best entertainment?
Yes, but that's different. We're talking about live announcing versus like on air commentating. That's a whole other
when
thing.
they were on.
But yeah, I don't think little kids would have been able to listen.
But when they were on, there was nothing else you wanted to watch. There was nothing else you wanted to do.
No,
I was when I would see them on, I'm commenting. I'm like loving it when they
me
were
too.
on.
Yeah, me too. Oh man. All right.
Well, hey, before we go, I keep thinking about I wonder how this passing of Nasty is really gonna really soak in this year, because it's a trip for me, because when Gerald Dawson passed,
right,
I started thinking about, I was like, that's really like the first one who's just a recent competitor, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody saw it coming, right?
Right.
All right, of our time, and then KA, Kevin Thompson, then Nasty.
Right.
It's a reality. We're going to start to see this now, because that's how long our sport's been going. I really wonder what the kind of impact is going to be that we're going to see throughout 2020. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm interested. I don't know what it's going to be. And I'm really interested to see how people really
One thing I want to mention, because I
Yeah.
I read an article, and they did this big time in Black Belt Magazine, and it was about the MMA Superman punch and who created it. And they gave Nasty Anderson the credit for creating the Superman punch. And I don't think he created the blitz, but he popularized it, right? Because what they're saying is that the California blitz is the Superman punch. And that is where they did that. So I'd be interested to see if any MMA type
But he didn't even do a
things
Superman
talk
punch.
about. But that's what they're calling it. That's what they're saying it started from, was the blitz, was the California blitz.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of cool. And several people in the MMA world mentioned that and said that. So they, and that's the highlight punch of that sport in a lot of ways, So pretty cool to think how that crossover kind of happened. So,
yeah.
And in other people's views, I think someone like a Joe Rogan, he knows this stuff. He would probably know about that stuff, We'll see. But I hope more people talk about it and just honor him. And let's have a big year honoring these guys, man. KA
exactly.
and Nasty, great people.
Till next week.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you care who wins the Super Bowl?
No, and I don't even want to watch it. So
neither do I. I don't care. I'm mad. You know what I will say? Every year, I've got a 50-50 shot as to who's going to win the Super Bowl. For the last 20 years, I've picked the wrong person. I'm not even making that up. For the last 20 years, I've picked the wrong team.
Wow.
So I can tell you. So if you want to know who's going to win,
tell me who you're going to pick.
All right, I'll tell you right now. Anybody wants to win? This is not an exaggeration. Ever since the Patriots' first Super Bowl, whoever I picked, that's who I want to win. They do not win.
All right.
Okay.
Go.
I want the 49ers to win. So go to the bank right now. Go put your money on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because that's not an exaggeration. 20 years of being wrong for one game.
Wow. All right.
Go put your money on the Chiefs because I say I want the 49ers to win. It's like that. It's that bad.
That's awesome.
All right. This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you next week.